Hello, everyone, and welcome to Africa Fire Mission's weekly virtual training session. My name is Mike, and I'm the programs director here at Africa Fire Mission. We're so happy that you took time out of your busy schedules to join us for today's training. Today, we're joined by Nancy Moore. Nancy is the executive director and co-founder of Africa Fire Mission, and she's here today to talk to us about all the different resources that Africa Fire Mission has available for you as you're getting out there in your communities and doing outreach and fire prevention. Really excited to have her join us here today. Before we get started with today's training, I'm going to pass things over to Jose. Jose is our fire safety officer, and he's going to get us started with a couple words of encouragement.
Thank you, Chief Mike. I truly appreciate you and everybody else who's here. Thank you for finding time and in your busy schedule, and also to use your money to buy the bundles. We do not take it for granted. Self-development is a personal choice, and I'm glad that you're here. So, what what word of encouragement do I have for us today? I was looking at the chats that we are having in our WhatsApp group, and I kept on thinking, what does advocacy mean for us? You know, is it just by us going to the community and doing some activation in maybe a meeting, an administration chief from the government meeting, or a chama somewhere? You know, what is advocacy for us? You see, when you advocate for something, you're pushing for change to happen, and especially positive change, not the negative change. So whenever you're out there, especially right now that we are being thrown rocks at, our vehicles don't have fuel, people complaining that we don't have enough water, it is your responsibility. Number one, before you go out there to advocate, get down and use resources that are available for you. Do you know about pumps? Do you know about what happens about the water capacity? Do you know about our PPE? Get involved in putting personal knowledge in your mind so that if you're given an opportunity to to stand in the gap for firefighters, you will have content. You're invited to a TV program. Do I have content for that? So like in today's topic, we're going to learn about resources that are available for you. These are the resources that you need to make use of, so that when you're advocating for our first responders profession, you can perform in the best possibility that God has given you. So in a nutshell, I wish you blessing. I wish you courage. I wish you open mind that anything that you learn, you will grasp and you'll make use of it out there. Stay well. God bless you. Back to you, Chief Mike.
Thank you, Jose. We always appreciate you being here, sharing those encouraging words, and all the work that you do to support firefighters throughout all of Africa. Before we get started with today's training, let me just touch on a couple administrative notes. If you stick around for at least 70% of today's training, which is usually about 40 or 45 minutes, you'll get a certificate of attendance for today's training. If something happens, your network drops out, you can't complete the training for some reason, head on over to our webpage, www.africafiremission.org. We're going to be talking about it a lot today. But go to that resources tab under training materials. You'll be able to find a link to our Google Drive, which will contain a recording of today's training, as well as all the other trainings that we've done so far this year. If you watch a video of the training, answer a few questions to let us know that you completed it, we'll get you a certificate of attendance for that training as well. Just another quick reminder, your name, your screen name is what shows up on that certificate. So if you'd like to make any adjustments to that, now's the time to do that. If you're sharing your screen, take a look in the chat. I'm going to drop my email address. Let me know who else is watching with you, and I'll be sure they get a certificate of attendance as well. With that, let me just invite you at the top of the hour for our tea time. We'll transition into that tea time. It's a great time to ask questions about training today or to just network with other firefighters from throughout Africa. Errol will be leading us through that. So I invite you, if you've got the time and the bundles, to stick around at the top of the hour and join us for tea time. And now, without further ado, I'm going to pass things over to our executive director, Nancy Moore, to get us started with today's training.
Hi, everyone. It is great to be with you today and to see many familiar faces as well as many new faces. As Mike said, I'm the executive director of Africa Fire Mission for those that I've not met before. And actually, we're going to do a little bit of a team approach with today's training. Wesley Richmond, our communications director, is going to be sharing some of the resources that he's been working on. Behind the scenes, Wesley is the one that sends you the weekly news for firefighters in Africa. If you're not getting that, drop a note in the chat. It may just be that we haven't done an update recently if you're a new join to our weekly trainings. So just drop a note there and that'll help us keep track that we need to do some updates from that. But we have a ton of resources available for you at AFM. So today's really a chance for me to give you some updates and then for us to review some of those resources that we have. And then also to invite you to share ideas of things that you may need as resources that we might be able to provide. I'm always going to give you the truth if there's things, ideas that we're not able to do or that we might need to explore. I'm going to tell you the truth with that. If there's something that we can't do, like I cannot promise all of you PPE, I would love to do that, or a fire truck. But there are many resources that we can provide you that can help you, as Jose said, advocate for yourselves in order to get some of those resources. So that's a lot of what we want to talk about, are resources you can use to advocate for yourselves today. So really grateful for my team that makes this happen every week, from the volunteers to Chief Mike, Jose and Errol, and other volunteers from across the world, really, that jump in to make these trainings happen. Someone reminded me just yesterday that we've been doing this now for 5 years. I think August 5th is actually our 5-year anniversary of weekly online trainings. And since that time, we've provided 50 weeks of training each calendar year. And that's just a big milestone. So just want to acknowledge that and to thank you all for participating. You've really shown the value in this training by showing up every week. And as Jose said, using your bundles to be here. So I just want to share a little bit of a reminder about AFM's mission. Our work is really to increase the sustainable capacity of fire departments across developing communities. We use a model that includes training, empowerment, support, and encouragement. And you'll hear that from us a lot as we do these trainings and as we train in country. Our core values are really about partnership, community ownership. AFM is yours, not mine. AFM is about you. Development, not aid. And so that's an important thing to us. Transformation. We are seeing so many changes across the fire services in Africa, and that is it is our honor as AFM to come alongside you for that transformation. Sustainability, advocacy, as we've talked about today, and innovation. We're really excited about some of the resources that we've created because we think they're innovative. Some of them are just accessible, which is another thing that we really want to create with our innovation. And we also have had in this last year, we're actually involved at AFM in 3 research projects right now. 2 of them are just in the early stages. You'll hear more about those soon. The other one is our active bleeding control trainings that have just gotten started. So lots of innovation that's happening where we're contextualizing materials for an African context and hopefully learning and listening to you as those resources are coming into play. Where AFM works, this is just Africa being represented here. I know we've got some folks from the Middle East that join this training now. We've had partners from other places. This year, we will be in Kenya, Zambia, and Malawi. We had thought we were going to have a team to Nigeria. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. And we are in the planning phases for expansion for in-person work in Liberia. A lot of times I get questions asked about what does it take for AFM to come. We are largely self-funded, so a lot of our team members raise funds for themselves to go. We do receive some grant funding, but the thing that really impacts how we go, where we go, is partnerships. So we're really looking for connections with government, be that local or national government, local organizations that we can be connected to that have community knowledge, cultural awareness, expertise, and then of course, fire service organizations. We really need those three partnerships in place for us to go somewhere. And because we go with partners. And that can take some time. So we've had some projects that have taken several years to develop. AFM started in 2012. And so the places that we've gone, as you can see in Africa, there's still a lot of work to be done. And we are committed to continuing to grow our work. One of the last things I want to touch on before we talk about our fire safety resources is just our model that we utilize. So when we are working in a place, we utilize community health education or community health evangelism as our base, and fire safety advocacy. Really what we're seeing is our model of fire safety advocacy isn't just a job title for someone, but it's really a model that's evolving and that we're looking and measuring change with. And the part of this model that we're going to focus on today is that community training and development. The reason that this is a big piece of our model is that we've seen that when you have relationships with your communities, change happens. If you are not building relationships within your communities, change is not happening. And that happens at several levels. Your community may be your government community. It may be your neighbors. It may be the communities where your fire service is going. But you need those relationships in order to impact change. So the resources that we have are resources that we hope will help you be able to build relationships in those communities and help you to grow. And we really are seeing that change lives. We recently have had some stories of the gas cylinder training. Some of you have done those gas cylinder trainings out in your communities. We've heard about communities that have been saved because they've known what to do when there's been a problem with their gas cylinders, and they've stopped fires before they became problems. We've heard about schools that have been able to evacuate safely because they've known what to do in the case of a fire. So that's really an important piece for us to pay attention to. We want you to listen for those stories and to share those stories with us when those successes happen so that we can help share the stories of the Africa Fire Service. So we've developed a lot of different programs around fire safety. I'm not going to touch base a lot on this one today, but if I can get my slide to go forward, there we go. Our fire safety programs like the Tochi and Jose Fire Safety Show. We didn't do that show. We didn't record that show for personal gain. Everything that's done with that show has been done at low cost. If you're not in Kenya and you haven't seen the Tochi and Jose show, I really want to encourage you to check that out. I'll show you where you can find it on our page. but we really did this for you. And one of the things that we hope that you'll do is to share. And in a few weeks, Jose is actually going to spend some time talking about utilizing social media to help advance your fire service. And this is one of the resources that's available to you to share to your communities to help advance your community knowledge by utilizing social media. So we have a lot of different resources, both for in-person trainings and for social media. And that's really what we want to focus on the rest of our time today. So before we go too far with that, what I want to do next is just to show you how to get to some of those resources from our website. And of course, I thought that I had those up and ready, and it looks like I closed my window. So give me 1 second here. Also, as I'm sharing resources, if there's any resources that you're curious about or want me to spend some more time on, please go ahead and drop a comment in the chat about that. So I'm going to share our website. And if you've been on our website, wave at me or use the tools to share that you've been on our website. Take a look there. We would love for you to get there. Probably all of you have been because you've registered for this training. So if nothing else, you've done that and want to encourage that. So from our website, you're going to see this resources tab. This section of our website is all about you. And the first section is training materials. We've got all kinds of training materials. This is where you're going to find our weekly resources, etc. We're going to find our fire safety curriculum here. That's where we're going to spend the most of our time today, is talking about that. Our fire safety assessment. You can find our firefighter blog, which when we have a new blog post come out, that goes out in our weekly emails to you. So again, if you're not receiving those weekly emails, I'll even show you where to sign up and to encourage your friends to sign up today. And then our white papers, which take a deeper dive into topics that we have been asked about from our partners. And then finally, resources on our new curriculum and active bleeding control. So when you click on resources, everything's there for you. And I just want to encourage you to find those. One of the resources, I'm going to actually pause and have Wesley talk about our new resource of our fire safety tips. We're working on a lot of different things with that, but I want to give Wesley a chance to share what those are and to talk to you about some ways that you can utilize those resources. And then we'll look at the other resources a bit more.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. So I just want to go over a few ways of how we can access the fire safety tips, what they are, and how you can use them effectively both in your trainings and to help develop your communities. So in your chat, I just sent out a series of links. You can follow along with as I'm going through these different resources, just so you can either sign up or view these pages as I talk about them. First, I'm going to stop on our AFM training page, as Nancy just brought up. This page is at the top of our resources here. If you click on that tab, it'll bring you right here. A lot of our training resources are available directly on this page, and the fire safety tips are among the materials that you can access. Under additional materials, you can always access the fire safety tips here, just right at the bottom. Go ahead and click this link, and it's going to bring you to our Flickr account. So these are our fire safety tips. This has been a program that we've been developing for, I want to say, about a year now. We're very excited to start sending this out and sharing this with you. Our fire safety tips touch on about 14 different important topics when it comes to either fire prevention or staying safe while using fire. Right now, we have fire safety tips out about staying safe with candles, stop, drop, and roll, carbon monoxide, and staying safe with cooking. As we continue to progress through this year and then into 2026, each week we are going to release a new fire safety tip. So if you are active with AFM and joining in on some of our communities, you have probably already seen the fire safety tips in one way or another. I want to touch on a few ways where you can see these tips and then go over a little bit more how you can effectively use these. So one of the first ways that we shared this, and this happens every week, is on our Africa Fire Mission, Africa Fire Service networking and development group on Facebook. So you do need a Facebook account to sign up and join this page. After you have a Facebook account, though, I have the link sent to you in the Zoom call. And you can go ahead and join in on this page. And this is a great way both to network with other firefighters and first responders in Africa, as well as get some of the latest resources from AFM. So right down here, you can see that this morning we did have a new fire safety tip release. This afternoon for your time, we had a new fire safety tip release. Stay safe with cooking. Both you can read the text here or in the fire safety tip itself. And then once again, we link back to the Flickr page so you can see all of our fire safety tips at once. You can go ahead and also save this image directly from Facebook, which will make it really convenient to save and share. On this page as well, you can access other resources like our fire safety blog that Nancy also touched on, and other resources that'll really help your development and help you when you train in your communities. Additionally, you can access these fire safety tips on our WhatsApp accounts. So if you don't know already, AFM this year started our own WhatsApp channel. I also linked to this in those different links I sent in the Zoom chat. So I'd encourage you all to join our accounts there. Every week we're sharing new resources as well. We're sharing the fire safety tips. We're sharing the virtual trainings, which you can access on YouTube at any time, and any other resources that are new from AFM. Those are always available on our WhatsApp channel, and it's a great way to get just some quick resources just right to your phone at any time. And then finally, I do just want to touch on our weekly emails, which is another great way that you can access our fire safety tips. Once again, if you are not in our AFM resources email each week, go ahead and just drop a chat in the Zoom call, and then we'll make sure that you will get involved in that way. That's just another way that we share a lot of resources each week, so you can stay up to date with what AFM is sharing. And of course, each week we are sharing the fire safety tips there. So just going a little bit more in depth with what these fire safety tips are and how you can use these in your trainings. Firstly, I wanted to thank anybody that filled out our survey from a few weeks ago about the fire safety tips. That gave us some great insight into how people are accessing these, how people want to use them, and really helped us cater the ways that you can share these to communities that you may be involved with. So once again, these fire safety tips are great bite-sized pieces of information, just quick one sentence, a few sentences about some really important fire safety information. Just clicking into this stay safe with candles as an example. So at the top of our fire safety tips, you can always see what the category is. That's accompanied with the picture in the middle. And then at the bottom is the separate tip. So as I mentioned earlier, there's about 14 different categories for the fire safety tips. And it's a great way to differentiate between different training topics or different pieces of expertise. One way that you can use these is during fire safety advocacy or fire safety prevention training. So let's say you have a fire safety prevention training that's upcoming. These are a great resource that you can use, as you can especially use them to tailor different aspects of your training to different pieces of fire safety information. So if during your training you're going to touch on staying safe with candles, this is a great part of the training that you can just use these different tips. And these are all part of AFM's curriculum. So all this information is completely up to date and accurate. I think a good example of this is in our carbon monoxide training, and with some of the tips that are going to be upcoming with smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms. This information is all up to date and current with the most accurate information for carbon monoxide safety and how to stay safe with using smoke alarms. So I really encourage you to use these as a quick way to get very important information on both how you can save lives and how you can help save your communities from different fire safety, fire-related emergencies, carbon monoxide, and other first responder emergencies. I think that's all the important information about fire safety tips. But as always, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave that in the chat. Um, as I mentioned before, we are going to keep releasing a new fire safety tip each week through all the channels that I mentioned before. So I'd love for you to get involved and encourage you to use these and share them with your communities.
Excellent. Thanks, Wesley. Really appreciate all your hard work on getting these up and going. So I actually want to pause here and open up to any comments or ideas. One of the reason that we created these tips isn't just for AFM to share them. As Wesley said, we really want you to use them. And so really just want to invite some conversation for just a few moments before we go into the rest of our resources. You can use the chat or unmute yourselves and make comments. How could you use these on social media, and what questions do you have about that?
You guys can drop a comment in the chat. You can use the raise hand feature. You can go ahead and just unmute yourself and say what you have to say.
What are some ways that you could use the social media or the fire safety tips on social media? And when I say social media, I even mean WhatsApp. So think about that as well. What ideas do you have? Timmy. Yeah,
Good evening, everyone.
good evening.
Thank you for the opportunity and for the lesson. From my end, I usually send, for instance, like the one for the candle, I separate it from the main slide and pose a question to my friends in our small group. Like, what happens? An example is I post a candle and I ask, do you guys know what will happen if this candle falls in your bedroom or on your bed? Do you know what will happen? Do you know how you'll manage the fire? So such questions I usually pose when I get the safety newsletter from your guys. So sorry, I usually
Great.
extract the image for use, but that is how I usually do it. Thank you.
No apologies. That's great. And it really utilizes that teaching model that we tried to use of asking questions and encouraging discussion. So that's a fantastic way. Thanks, Timmy. Anyone else? Ways that you've used it or that you think you could? I saw a hand and then I lost
Like in the
it.
chat, George says, I can use this sending or sharing to many groups that I'm in.
Absolutely.
And Richard says the tips are so handy and easy to understand, sharing them with school groups, the local community, and WhatsApp groups.
Yeah, absolutely. So lots of opportunities there to share.
Adelino, go ahead.
Adelino, yeah.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm good, and you guys?
Excellent. Thank you. It's good to see you. It's been a while for me.
Yeah. Oh, that's good, Nancy. Yeah, it's been a while also. Just seeing you on Facebook
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, in our safety guys, what they do when they teaching like showing the kids and everything. What they do is like they take a 2 liter bottle, they cut it just not in a half, in a quarter half of the head, and then pour water in the bottle, turn the cap, put the candle in, and then what happened is when let me turn my camera.
Sure.
Let me turn my camera. Shiba. All right, let me do this. This is the like 2 liter bottle. They cut it somewhere there, here, and then what they do is they turn the cap upside down, took the cap off, put water in, and then they take the candle, they put it in. Immediately when the bottle falls, immediately when the bottle falls, what happens is the water that's inside it extinguishes the candle off. I don't know. Do you catch my idea?
Yeah. Thanks for sharing
Yeah.
that one. Great.
Yeah,
Great.
that's how
Yes.
they normally give the advocation to the mostly all the children in the communities and the schools, even in the churches.
As a safety way to use the candles. That's great. That's
Use the
great.
candles, yes.
Yeah. Excellent. So thank you all for those contributions. I think that's really helpful. Just some other things that you can certainly share them with extracting them from our Flickr page or from other places. You can also be on our channel on WhatsApp and just share those directly. And then what we've seen is those have initiated conversations. And so I love the idea of asking questions to add on to that training and continuing to engage. We don't want these to just be flat tips, right? We want them to create engagement, to have conversations around them. So I just want to encourage you to utilize them. We're looking on our website soon. We'll have some ways where if you wanted, you could pick and choose some and print some of them that maybe you wanted to have a campaign in your community. We've seen, especially the Ghana Fire Service, utilize some resources like this. I've seen Kenya, I've seen Malawi utilize some resources where they kind of hold up a board with some information to help engage that conversation. So I just encourage you to think about creative ways that you can use those specific materials. So I want to just go back and share a few other resources for you. Good to see you as well, Victor. I actually was just noticing you were here today. Welcome. So going back to those training materials resources for you, there's all those links that Wesley shared are all right here. Again, those fire safety tips are right here for you. The other thing that I really want to encourage, so many of you are doing this already, and I just want to encourage you to keep going, is our fire safety data collection. If you've reported on our data collection page, would you just do another wave or use Zoom to wave at us? Kind of let us know there. This is really helpful for us to know what trainings are taking place, but we hope that it's also helpful for you. So as soon as you send this report, we send you a report back. It's automated, so you get a report back with all of the data that you've already submitted. And it's a pretty quick form for you to fill out with the start and end date of the training, where the training took place, who you were training, the number of participants, and what lessons you taught. And this is the reason that we started this particular submission is we found that there were a lot of people going out into their community and the feedback was not coming back to the local government about those trainings that were happening. And so what we can do with this is we're going to send you a report immediately that you can forward on to your bosses. But we're also going to send you a report every 6 months. And with that 6-month report, have some of you received a 6-month report from us? Just wave again. I'm into waving today, I guess. But you can submit that report. And like I said, every 6 months, we'll send you a summary report of the trainings that you've provided. So I just want to encourage you to take advantage of that resource on our website as well. And you can find that report in a few places, and I'll show you some other places. Maybe you've attended our in-person trainings and you'd like to access resources from our teams in another place. You can also access that here. I know a lot of you are have accessed our fire safety curriculum. We reworked this page recently, and so I want to make sure that you know where to get the resources that you want. Our main resource is our flipbook. If you're looking for other images to share with your communities, you can access this. We are in the process of starting to add on some additional lessons to our training curriculum here. But this is designed, if you've printed it, or if you're looking at it on the page, every other page is a resource either for the community or for you as the instructor. And so this would be what you would show to the community, and this would help guide the discussion for you. It's based on a lot of questions, very similar to the fire tips, where you can have the discussions about electricity, smoking, candles, and then it gives you some content that you can share if based on what's been shared. So these are some resources that are available to you on our curriculum page. We also have those lessons in another format, so you can get them in a more of a Word document that you can utilize. So a printout where it's just a bit simpler for you if you're just needing to read through the information. Maybe you don't have the opportunity to print the flip book. So all of our lessons are there. Those lessons also, there's 6 lessons right now. One on bushfires is one that maybe we don't talk about as much. So those are all available to you. We also have a home fire safety checklist that you can use, both for informal settlement communities as well as rural communities. And what these do is it's allowing you to assess a home that you might be visiting, and also allows you to teach a lesson at the same time. So you can track that, and if you're going out into homes, provide this as a handout to your community as well. A few other things going back to that page. We've got our our children's programs are in a different spot now. There's also a train the trainer outline. So maybe you've participated in some of our trainings. You're interested in teaching others how to do these community fire prevention trainings. You can actually access the train the trainer right on our website, and we'd be happy for you to go through that in your community. So all of these resources are available there. We have done some translations into a few languages for you. So you can see we have a Swahili translation, a Portuguese translation, and a French translation. As we update our curriculum, we'll be looking at adding some additional translations. So if that's something you're interested in your language, you can even drop a comment in the chat there for us. Next, we have our children's resources, kind of just doing a little deep dive for you today. So the lessons, some handouts that you can use, a letter that you can actually, this is a new edition actually. So this letter is going to come up as a download for you so that you can invite schools where you have done outreaches. You can invite them to share with parents about the outreach and what they've done. And what we've found is that sometimes the kids know what to do in case of an emergency. You've trained them how to evacuate. You've trained them what to do in terms of emergency drills, but parents may not know that the school has taught them that. And so we really want to encourage schools to share that. You can update all of this with your local information right in this document. So it's just a format for you. Please update it as to make it helpful for your communities. We also have some children's activities. There's a activity for a fire helmet, a coloring book. We hope to have some Tochi and Jose coloring resources available to you soon. There's a whole school program. If you have maybe a longer period of time and you have a few days you can spend in a school, that program is here for you. Every step of the way, it's outlined for you. Maybe you have a short-term team coming to your community and you'd like them to provide some specific materials on fire safety. They can email us for that full program, and we'd be happy to share that with them. Okay, so next I just want to look, I think I missed something, hang on. Sorry, get back. Oh, I mentioned Tochi and Jose earlier in our fire safety show. This is another great thing to share on your social media. If you're trying to educate your community, you can share all of the episodes right to your social medias. Okay, so the next thing I want to look at here is our fire safety assessment. We've been doing a lot of work with this in the last couple of years. This is also a place where you can go to report your training events. Here And I think I missed at the bottom of the other page is another place you can report your training events. Really encourage that. If you're doing a safety assessment of any sort of facility, it could be a school, it could be a business. Maybe you don't know exactly what you might want to report. This is a simple way for you to get started. These are not to be considered, these are more educational tools, not enforcement tools. So that's a really important thing about the tools that we've created here. They're intended to be educational in nature for your communities, not enforcement tools. And we have a whole training here on how to, from a previous virtual training, on how to use those fire safety assessments. So you can watch that and actually get training credit for that if you weren't here for that. Today, I'm not going to look at the other 3 resources, but I do want to just allow some time for any questions or conversation about what you're doing in your community related to fire safety. And the next month, we're going to really begin to dive into this topic deeply. So I wanted to come kick that off with you all. And just want to open it up now to some conversation. What are the things that you're doing in maybe utilizing our resources or other resources for fire safety?
You guys can drop a comment in the chat. You can use the raise hand feature. You can go ahead and unmute yourself. The floor is open. Please share. Now's the time.
Hey, Mike, how are you, Chief?
Good morning, Victor. How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you. It's good to see Nancy today. Long time.
Thank you. Yes, long time. Good to see you as well.
Yeah. Actually, just to spot on the question, now what are we doing in this season? Actually, here in Zambia, this is a season where we have a lot of wildfires. You know, people they burn a lot, and at the same time we have our farmers doing their harvesting of the crops. So we were embarking on sensitizing the community that they should first create fire breaks around their fields, so that they don't lose their harvest. And then also at the same time that we encourage to do controlled burning, the early burning. Yeah, the early burning where we need to. Hello? Okay. Where we need to have fresh vegetation. So this controlled burning is for 3 months. That is June, July, August. We need to end up with that controlled burning, which is early burning, so that we have a fresh vegetation that grows up. So actually, currently, that's what we are doing. We are sensitizing the community, our people, on burning patterns that they need to embark on. The other thing that we are doing as the ministry, our government is embarking on disaster management mitigation. Because we had a lot of floods and some of the disasters. So that we are creating satellites, sensitizing the satellite committees, and then also so that we have a responsive system that will respond whenever there are disasters, and also to educate them on what we need to do in an event that there's a disaster, if there are floods, there's fire, and whatever calamity that disrupts the operation of the community. So currently, that's what we are doing besides responding to our main call of fire, and low traffic accidents. So actually, it's quite busy, but we are equal to the task because this is what we are called to do. Yeah. And
absolutely. Thank you,
Yes.
Victor. Yeah,
Thanks.
absolutely. You bet. So, if as you're going along, if you're looking for some resources on expanding some of that communication to your community, this particular training on preventing and responding to bushfires might be
Yes.
a helpful thing to review. It's got
Okay.
lots of questions to talk with the community about. We actually have learned a lot from Zambia. So there's a lot that we put in because of the Zambia Fire Service here, and
Yeah.
also from Malawi. So some great resources if you're ever looking for additional resources there. Thank you.
Thank you so
Good.
much. And
You're
and
welcome.
also we've embarked on community sensitization in schools, fire safety training. And you
Excellent.
know, we are just in the cold season. You know, we are school kids would want to keep themselves warm, and eventually the fire gets out of control. So we are
Yes.
embarking on that, and considering that I'm just in a Lulo setup, just starting a fire station, a fire brigade, and it's now 1 year old. You know, yeah.
Fantastic. Yes.
So there's a
Excellent.
lot of work.
A
Thanks so
lot of
much.
work to do. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so just a reminder, especially since I forgot to talk about it earlier, we would love to
Okay.
help you let your government know what you're doing, right? Let your municipality know what you're doing. And so you can report those training events to us and we will send that report back to you. And so it's just on our main fire safety curriculum page, the very bottom,
Yes.
report training events. And we'd
Oh,
love to help you be able to share that information.
thank you so
Great.
much.
Thank
So grateful
you.
for your help.
No problem. No problem.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we're looking forward to being in Zambia. I saw George share using your own PPE to keep you safe while doing those trainings. Yeah, absolutely. We want to keep you safe and do those trainings safely. And I think, Jose, do you want to talk a little bit about PPE and training? Because I know we've gone from always wearing PPE to help show who a firefighter is, but also balancing that with building the community's confidence in responding.
Thank you, Nancy. Yeah, with time we noticed, and this came out of the demand of the community. So at the first point, we felt it is very important that we show that firefighters are well geared to actually protect you, more like firefighters are your friends. But then from that level, the community were like, yes, now we know that you guys have PPE, even though we don't have it, everybody. But then one question one time came in one of the community members. They were like, so you're teaching us to put out these fires, but we don't have those PPEs. So shall we be in a bigger risk? And then at that particular point, I had to remove all my PPE right in front of them and tell them, actually, you're right. Yes, you people don't have this PPE, but these accidents happen when you're in the house. So let me remove my PPE and then I show you how safely you can respond to these fires. And we used our normal civilian clothes, and that through that the community was more convinced, and they could see how practical we could teach them about loose clothes, especially for the ladies when they have the dresses, or what we call here the wrap-ons, how they need to tuck them in. The men, they need to wrap up pull up their sleeves. We showed them in practicality. So PPE is great, but then when you're doing other activities, it is very critical to wear, not to wear the PPE. However, in instances, for example, a disclaimer, when you're using, you need to use PPE when you're demonstrating chip and fires. The reason being is that the wind shifts within the shortest time possible. And if you don't have your PPE when you're using chip pan fires, because you are actually activating an explosion, a real explosion. And you've already told the community to step back 3 meters. But for you, you are less than 1 meter to the fire. So you need to protect yourself at all cost. From the helmet to the bunker coat and the bunker pant and the boots. You need to have everything when you are doing the chip and fire. But for the gas cylinder fire, it's okay. You can just use your civilian clothes, but be safe. Also, another thing to mention, Nancy, is the activations are supposed to be done outside. Outside, all of them. If you are using fire, live fire, please do it outside. Why? You may ask. There's one activation that somebody did of a fire extinguisher, guess in a church. He brought down the whole church down. I'm going to share the photo with you on the WhatsApp. The whole church came down. Why? He was an expert, he thought. But yes, he was an expert. But when you activate the extinguisher and shoot at the base of the fire, what happens? The fire is transferred at least a meter away from where you are. And if it catches something that can start the burning, it will burn very fast. So yeah, that will be my contribution for that part. Back to you, Nancy.
Thanks, Jose. And we'll have some time during tea time to further discuss those things for those that are interested. Most importantly, as you're doing these things, if you're not confident, use your PPE, be safe. Number one. And as you grow your confidence, as your community starts to really understand you, there may be times where you choose to demonstrate as the community would use those skills that you're teaching them. So thank you so much. We are at the top of the hour. I am so grateful to each one of you for the work that you do in your communities, saving lives, saving property, responding to fires, and also I hope that you'll continue to expand your work to prevent fires and other emergencies in your community. We are grateful to each and every one of you for taking time to be with us today. And I'm going to stick around for tea time. So I'll pass it back to Mike to close things up.
Thanks, Nancy. Thank you. You used up all my thank yous to the participants. Let me give a thank you to you for being here and joining today, sharing these different resources that are available and helping everybody utilize all these free tools, free tools for you guys. This training here that we're doing is also one of those free tools, and we have plenty of seats available here. So if you know of anyone that might benefit from this training, please feel free to share that link. You can find it on our webpage under those resources, like we've been showing you all throughout this hour. So thank you to everybody for joining us today, and I hope to see you all again next week.